Andy, just tell us first of all what this week's been like, because supporters at least have been on a bit of a high after last weekend, but from the professionals' point of view, what's this week been like for all of you in terms of training and preparation?
Yeah, just the same as any other week, I've got to be honest. I felt some really good things came out of last week's performance and result, and it's something to build on. We've reviewed our performance against Derby and fed back to the players and asked them what they thought. And since then, it's all been about our preparation for Forest Green. So we've watched them play on Tuesday night against Peterborough. They've been inconsistent in terms of results, but they beat one of the big boys last week at home in Bolton. So they're a good side, got good players, but it's going to be all about what we do. And we need to try and build on last Saturday's 3 points. One
of the things that the manager spoke about and came out of last week was the front two.
Yeah.
I just wanted to try and get your view on how well you feel those two are gelling together. I know it's only been a few games, but Ellis and James together, has that got, if you like, the foundations of a really good partnership?
Absolutely. I think since Ellis has come in, his output in terms of goals is really good. His performances are getting better. He's got real good qualities which complement Willow's as well, as in what we had last year with Procker and Willow. So yeah, both doing well, both obviously being forwards, want to score every single game and want to get opportunities, but I think when we get the ball wide, Ellis is an incredible danger in the box. He seems to have a head on a stick, whether it's in our box or their box. So it's important we keep trying to get those two in good positions. It's important that they keep doing the work for the team when we haven't got the ball, which they are doing, and they're our first line of defence, so to speak. So we want to try and press teams high and regain the ball high up the pitch. So yeah, a good start for both of them, but I'm sure that they'll both want more.
A lot of teams these days, particularly as the further you go up, don't play with two up front now. But at this level, is a front two kind of something that just works well for you, or is it something you've consciously decided to do as a group?
No, I think the days maybe of 4-4-2 are gone. There's a couple of teams still playing it, but I think it's a system where you can still get two up top by playing three at the back. So listen, it's all down to players. We've all got ideas as coaches and managers about what we want, but ultimately it's about the group of players you get. You come into a club, and then what you recruit for. So that's how we're currently going. We have got flexibility where we can change it slightly up top, but yeah, that's the way we're going currently.
And what does it do for James to get that first goal as well? Because centre forwards feed off that, don't they? To get his first one in front of a big atmosphere as well like that must have been great for him.
Absolutely. He's come back in. Unfortunately, he picked up that niggle in pre-season, which held him back a little bit, but he gets into a rhythm after a few games, and he's got undoubted quality. He's a top player. He's a top guy who's, I think, best years are still ahead of him. I really do. I think he's a conscientious guy. He wants to improve. He wants to take on information, and he's a centre forward, so he wants to score goals. And it was a really good finish last week.
A player who plays in the same position you did, I wanted to mention to you, is Will Forrester, who the last couple of games in particular has really impressed. Perhaps played a different role to what you came in at the start to do.
Yeah.
What have you, in your experience as a former centre-back, what have you made of him and how he's developed so far?
I think one of the things about him, you wouldn't know he was 21-year-old. He's got a really good mentality, real mature, wants to learn, wants to impress. He's brave, he wants to compete. He's good on the ball as well. So he's got an opportunity to have a long career if he wants to, as long as he keeps wanting to improve. But his performances are going up. He needs to be consistent within them. So yeah, we think we've got a really good player on our hands, and it's up to us and him to continue to develop.
Does he work well with Nathan Smith between the two of them? Obviously Nathan being a bit more experienced than him.
Yeah, listen, it's like anything within a team. You want people to complement each other. So Nathan's got different attributes to Will, as he has, as Cassie has, as Connor Hall has, as Jones has. So it's about us picking the right three for each particular game.
Do you see anything of yourself in Will as to when you started?
No, he's miles better than me. Miles better.
But from that point of view, though, can you kind of see the qualities that he needs maybe to go higher than this level?
Yeah, I think it's difficult maybe for a young centre back when you go in, because you are going to make mistakes, and as a centre forward maybe you can miss an opportunity to score, and there's not the clamour for it. You can play well for 8 to 9 minutes as a defender and make a mistake, and you've had a bad game ultimately, because that's the nature of the game. So again, he just needs to go, he needs to keep improving, bring a consistency to his game, make really good decisions, and if he can do that, he's got a real chance of having a career, of developing how he is, and hopefully moving on higher.
manager talked last week about kind of assessing the first quarter of the season as a group, as a management team now.
Yeah.
Have you got a kind of measure of where you are, where you want it to be after this period of games?
Yeah, we've reviewed last week as staff. We fed back to players yesterday, a little bit more this morning. So yeah, where we currently find ourselves, we're probably disappointed that we're not maybe a few more points ahead. I think we've missed a couple of opportunities to get more points, but we've played 9 out of the top 12, I think it maybe is, and a few of the bigger boys away from home, so and here. So yeah, we are where we are. We want to try and improve now in this next quarter, and Forest Green in the next challenge. And
with that in mind, it's all very well beating Derby, isn't it? But I suppose you've got to follow it up against a team that, on paper, people will say, well, if you've won at Derby, they will expect you to do well, or at least get something from Forest Green. On paper.
If it's on paper, everyone would have said that Derby would have beat Port Vale last week. So unfortunately, you don't win games on paper, do you? So yeah, but I get what you're saying. I think when you go to Derby, then next game is at home. You've got to go and back up that result.
How difficult is that though? Because as you say, expectation then weighs heavy, doesn't it, for you to win the next game after you've got a result like that?
Yeah, we'll just concentrate on our performance and what we need to do. And I think if we perform well, we'll give ourselves a better chance of winning a game. So we won't take Forest Green lightly at all. They came up with us last year, had a really consistent team last season. They've obviously lost a few players, change of manager, but the principles of how they're trying to play is still exactly the same. So, yeah, no, they're a good team, so are we, and we'll see how the game goes tomorrow.